So you have selected a mixer paddle as your secondary item. So let's take a look through this. Oh, and you brought a white pen with you. So this is your grid pattern. For me, I would say I would encourage, I think when I see stripes like this, and I mentioned this in somebody else's critique, we've seen these so many times. Like stripes are something that are all around us. So consider, there's nothing wrong with them, don't get me wrong, but consider something that happens within your stripes, where maybe you're showing us a negative shape or something that breaks that up a little bit. And even those like gumdrop shapes, not entirely unique. And so again, perhaps think about what can you add to these to give them even more life. That's my advice on this one.
Yeah, and also it crops a little bit weirdly over here because it
Yeah.
doesn't touch the other end.
Nice. I love this, that you're looking at the idea of shadow, and Ruth Asawa's pieces also considered the shadows. So quite lovely playing with shadows. Real, see, this is, we would never see this in person. Seeing your process and your reasoning for doing this, love it. Aha, so this is pasted on the back. It is not perfect. It should not be perfect. Rita, we are not looking for machine generated. This is, what a great, great, great idea, and a great way of creating that shadow.
Yeah, this is really smart. It creates another pattern of its own.
Yeah. Yeah. Held against a window. Yeah, please. We do not want it to be perfect. Nice. She says this is a bit blah, but included it for process sake. Yes. I think when you say, again, when you say it's a bit boring, my advice, my comment on this, and I see you're going to add some white pen to it. It's just expected. We've seen it. That's all. So I wouldn't look at it as boring, but think about how can you, right here, this is great. Half drop with a bit of black line. Already it's something more Rita and less something that we've seen before. Oh, here we go. This is nice. The mixer paddle and the egg beater. And once again, I sense great craft and a slight irregularity, which is what I'm encouraging. So that to me is a really successful piece.
And I love how it's not, well, it might be matted. Oh yeah,
I
it
think
is matted,
she
right?
does, yeah, she does a black mat on hers.
I like how it's not like strictly really cropped.
Yeah, or so centered.
Mhm.
So you're saying that you looked up geometric and organic patterns, but I think my hope here was for everyone was to think about, geometric shapes. Of course you find them in nature everywhere, but thinking about something that's a little less controlled, like even ivy or plant forms, they're filled with geometry, but thinking about how something is less, you know, perfectly geometric and more organic, I guess is the way to say it. And so for me, this feels incredibly geometric, completely.
Yeah.
So I would encourage, again, thinking about irregularity. As I look here at this aloe plant that's right next to me, it's filled with geometry, but there's thins and thicks, there's curled lines, there's lines that are buckling over on each other, as opposed to something that's made out of just straight on pieces of wood, for example, that are cut to the same size. So I love that you say trying to better understand them, because that is part of the deal, is just thinking like, what is meant by an organic shape? Something a little less uniform. Nice. This, again, do not need a mat on that one. Oh, what a beautiful photograph. And I love that you even are coming out of the mat as you work on it, because
Yeah.
it's being less contained. And the other thing I have to say for this, again, Rita, what I appreciate is, compared with some of the earlier ones, this feels more of your hand, and very unexpected. So this is something we haven't seen before, like cutting out that shape within the E, rotating the E. I would say in terms of creating a
Yeah.
pattern, I would encourage, something else happening in those empty spaces where it feels a little less intentional. But what I really love is the E is not perfect. All of this has just your hand evident in it. Let's go to that last photo though, because I wanted to comment on her comments, where she said, noticing the patterns in my kitchen, including the dish towel. So look at all those patterns
Wow.
in there. So that's also, for all of you, one of the most important things for this exercise, and pretty much all of them, is becoming more and more aware, more and more observant. All these things are around you, and how can you use those in your own artwork, in your designs, in just independent projects? It's everywhere. So terrific. I love this final message about just looking at these tools. Yeah. Julia, again, nice to see these pictures of your tools. Look at the patterns there. Look at the patterns in the rug and in the marble that's in her photograph. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
everywhere. The irregularity of the marble, the pattern of the spiral in your notebook. Great. Just picturing, sketching ideas, very rough. That's all we need to see. Varying your pattern. All of these are terrific. Great. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you people. Vintage Mary Mako. Yes, I've seen this. Great, great inspiration. Whoa.
I love this
Whoa.
one. I want it
Yeah.
as a sticker.
It's lovely. Yeah. Why is it lovely? Much like this, much like the one that's coming up. Great positive, negative. There's a rhythm that's created in these. I don't think you need the mats, by the way. It cuts it off funny, but it's okay. I also agree with Travis, who says it has a bamboo feel to it. And again, the idea of the half drop and patterns within patterns.
The movement is just so nice over here.
Yeah. Nicely documented as well. Very crisp. This one, I would say get it out of this mat. And I know you have a version of it, but I also appreciate your inspired by Yayoi Kusama's work. I'd love to see this unmatted, frankly.
Yeah, me too. I think it's a little too cluttered right now. Maybe
Yeah,
without the mat, it would give the viewer a little bit more breathing room.
Yeah, because that slatted spoon right in the center, I'm really curious what happens as that goes down the page.
At the bottom.
Yeah. So here we have organic and geometric. And here, this is good. Just Rita, who question, thinking about organic and geometric. So these floral pieces, obviously there's a geometry to them. So it is like, well, what is meant by which one? But there's an irregularity. It's more, natural. And then these U shapes and the little gumdrops feel very much derived from something with more of a mathematical configuration. And yes, I know there's also very strong math in organic shapes. This one also, I would say, Julia, because of what's happening at the top, the mat isn't helping your finished presentation, don't worry about it though. I asked you all to mat these, but always be thinking about that as you're doing this. Mary Mako inspired. I think for this, it's striking in its simplicity and its boldness, but I do feel so connected to the Mary Mako that I'd love to see more Julia Taylor in this.
Yeah.
And that might be as simple as putting something across those crescent moon shapes to have another variable that's happening, whether it's, you know, a dot or just some other form. So it feels, it's great, it's striking, but it really feels very much like the Mary Mako.
Yeah, even like maybe having different line weights would be fun. Like maybe one of these was like super thin and then one of these was like extremely thick. Maybe just that would make it your own variation.
And also, again, no need for the mat. Whoa, what is this? This is the EEG, the egg letter form one.
Ooh.
And again, just based on your sketches, what I appreciate about this, I sense less of a pattern that's happening here, but it would help just to see more of it. But regardless, what I appreciate about this and your sketches for this is the almost childlike quality, the animation character sensibility to this. And I see that Jessica mentions, I also see two bunnies at the bottom. There, it's very different than your other ones, and it feels very, very much your own and very free. Yeah.
Very fun.
Yeah. Great line weight different, great shape difference. That one felt very strongly as coming from Julia. Okay, Emily, thank you also for these photographs of these tools. So intriguing, and also very strong process photos throughout.
Car workspace.
Drawing in the car while she's at her daughter's ballet class. I'm sure the other moms have an egg beater in their purses. Oh, art school.
Nice.
Beautiful. Yeah, I have that top book, that Ruth Asawa book. It's so great. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's okay.
Ooh.
Look at this.
Wow. Love it.
Not only really stunning letter
Love
form,
this one.
not only stunning letter forms, but stunning process, such a time commitment. Geez.
This is making me want to go and draw letters
I know, right?
again.
Thumbnails for the various patterns. Yeah, we love seeing your process, like the taping down these bowls of scraps. And here's the 6 patterns as a grouping. This is also helpful for everyone to just do this, have the whole suite. Planned pattern. Wow. Yeah, the gears of the egg beater and the corkscrew combined. Positive, negative here, that interplay, it could be like an Annie Albers weaving.
Yeah, totally.
Half drop. I'd love to see this unmatted, and I'm really tempted to, yeah, it's I don't know if it's there's big white spaces in
Yeah.
between, like those 2 corkscrews in the middle. It feels like I'm wanting a little something else. You also might consider the egg beater image, which, you know, the circle with a line in it, even rotating that so that it's a little bit less, it because it's not quite
Mm,
exact, not that it needs to be, but there's something about this. I just want to rotate some of
yeah,
those.
I think even rotating these would be helpful. Like
Yeah.
tilt them a little bit too.
And this is your radial. I think for what we've noticed is very few people are using the black and then cutting the white out of it. So for me, right off the bat, this is super striking. And in terms of a pattern, I would love to see, and we've done this before in other classes when we have access to a photocopier, where you photocopy this, 4 times, and then combine these in a pattern to see what happens when they're joined together. Because of the way you have stuff on the edge, on the left and the bottom, when that gets joined with another one, you'd be amazed at how this pattern really grows. And right now, of this singular unit, for me, the black space feels like a lot. But when this would be repeated with other similar units, I think it could be quite striking, but great abstraction of the two tools. Also very nice documentation. Wow. So this is organic and geometrical. This is a very interesting take on this. Yes, she says this is her most abstract. Yeah, I would love, again, I'd love to see this again repeated and see what happens, because that bottom left shape becomes pretty predominant of this piece. It's clearly a pattern, but I would love to see how it repeats when you repeat this. Hopefully that makes sense. And I also love that you were referencing the vintage tablecloth that you showed in your photograph.
This looks like an N also.
Of course it does. So this is plotting. Letter forms. There's an abstract E and G here.
Do you see it?
No.
Oh.
Well, I guess obviously probably the E are the stripies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the G, I think, comes out of the triangle, is my guess. I just, regardless, being inspired by the Faith Ringgold's quilt, positive, negative, so abstracted, and just a wonderful composition for me, regardless of if I
Yeah.
can find the E or G. Yeah. So once
It's
again,
very refreshing to not see it, to see like a very different one for the letter form one.
yeah, and that's difficult to do, especially based on all your drawings of the letter forms. But once again, phenomenal process shots, great inclusion of the books that you're looking at, really helpful for everyone. Oh, Jessica, another already, just the photograph of these. There's your radial pattern. I love it.
She's done.
Right. Nice. Simplification of shapes. That's all it is. Can you click the media information thing?
Oh, yes.
Perfect. I'm guessing we're still in process mode.
Yeah.
Go just a little slower. That was super fast.
I can't tell if this. Wait, did I miss one? I think.
Well, I'm not entirely sure what the finished pieces are. So how about we just go through each of them and then we'll come back. I have to say, I didn't look at this groups in advance. So this is all very fresh to me. That appears to be a finished piece. Yes. Oh.
I wish you would have captioned which one we were looking at.
Yeah, let's go through her whole suite and then we'll comment. Yeah, it's really helpful to know what it is we're looking at. I think it'll become more clear to us in a minute. Okay, Yeah, I'm still not 100% sure. So we'll start in the beginning, Jessica, and with the cut ones. Yeah, so this to me feels like the radial piece, just like looking at your photograph of the tools. And I don't see it as being finished just because of the image. So maybe that will show up again. Yeah, it's not glued down. So let's see what comes next. Still not glued down, still feeling radial though, still feeling wonderful energy, and just like this, again, this explosion that happens with an egg beater, but we need to know a little bit more details. This is terrific, also terrific. Yeah, so this is probably finished just because of the mat that's on here. I'd get rid of the pencil lines that are visible, minor detail. What for me is critical here is the regularity combined with the irregularity. So those sort of, the dots feel very precise, but the others feel like they have your hand in them, which I very much appreciate.
Yeah, I'm just trying to picture it right now without the pencil lines, but it is very nice.
This one too. This one feels even stronger.
Yeah,
And I kind of think it's the same thing.
it's very similar. I think,
Oh, okay. I see that shape gets cut out. Yes.
yeah.
I actually think this is stronger because of cutting out that large shape, which becomes almost like a little face. And it has these dots are adding such a great energy to the piece and the scale. So this is that piece.
I think
Still,
she's using the same shapes.
yeah, we need more information. So I'm not sure what is finished and what is what part of the assignment you're doing. Nice. Same here and here. First of all, both of these I think are terrific in their abstraction and also in the sense of your hand. They have, irregular shapes to them. They're a little bit wonky, which is a good thing for this assignment. But we just need to know, is this a finished piece? And then the one that comes next feels so similar. Can you click on the next one, please? It feels very similar. So I'm not sure what it is and how this becomes a pattern. Emily comments that it has a cute feeling like a sloth trying to hug me. But it does. Both of these
Sweet.
final ones have more of a organic feel to them.
Yeah.
And I think we witnessed that in your last assignment, sort of like getting to this point where there's more of a natural feel to it. Oh, it was your dogs last week, the dogs that the two dogs that she did, remember?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
That felt very connected to you, Jessica.
Yeah.
But for our final assignments, just be sure that you give us a caption and show us your process. The sketches are terrific. And then in our group of spheres, the last person we'll be looking at is Travis. And here we have a slotted spoon, fantastic sketching, really great
I don't
details.
know why the
Even on a,
captions are not coming
I'm
out.
just gonna keep talking.
Okay, yeah.
Even on a small scale, if you just sketch out your ideas, like are shown here in the sketchbook. I also appreciate that you're looking at different sources of inspiration for this. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think my comment here is your paper cutting is extraordinary, and being inspired by aloe, uh, um, And I'm just curious about the egg beater component of this. And who is this? Oh, your doggy. Nice. But amazing cutting that you're doing here. Oh, left it
Oh
because
no.
yeah, she knocked over. I love the caption. She knocked over my plan. Yeah, see, again, I hear that you're inspired by the psychedelic patterns of the 60s, but I'm curious about the egg beater connection to this. I mean, obviously I can say like, oh yeah, I see the egg beater, but regardless of that, love the sketch, love the white on black sketching also.
I even appreciate the smudges on the sketch. I don't know.
Yeah. Ah, look at that cutout. Japanese joinery.
Inspiration. Nice.
The title, newly categorized JPEG. Organic without frame. Yeah, definitely. Here we go. Here comes these kitchen implements. Beautiful image. Somebody else had a pie slicer, and it's such a
Yeah.
simple, such a simple tool, but look at those forms.
Even the handle is so nice.
Yeah, agreed. Whoa. So, okay, this to me feels more like we're getting back to the egg beater, maybe the pie slicer here, the horizontal grid. Your image is upside down, but I'm thrilled with the positive negative. Here we go. The egg beater gear and handle was derived from my fascination with Japanese joinery. Good grief. Again, I have to say your inspiration should be inspiration to all the different places you're looking. Terrific.
Yeah, the Japanese joinery thing is a great example. And I would have never thought of it as the first thing for a pattern assignment, but it's
No.
like right there.
Here we go. Here's the egg beater with the E
Nice.
again. I even sense in this patterning, I sense a joinery kind of an element, but it's your negative shapes in here. And now I get it, the inspiration of the snowflake, because this really feels like that. It feels like those white spaces as you start to look at like almost a heart shape and you see these
Yeah.
squares, really unexpected. Yeah.
Yeah, the negative space is like
Look at
as
that.
exciting as
Yeah.
the letter forms.
Ah, oh, here's where the pups knocked over my layout. Got it. Everything's becoming very clear with you. This is why it's important. Your information that you're giving to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beater-like shapes that overlap and integrate your inspiration. It's a terrific pattern. Terrific. Good grief. Half beater and the pie slicer. This really feels to me like Art Deco, fabric, textile. Yeah, what can I say for all of you? These are so, yeah,
Fabric textile for sure.
yeah, so strong. I appreciate the combination of the geometric and the rounded shape on that one. This, yeah, that one. This one, I don't know about this one. I think it's because of the mat. It feels like it's too crammed in there. And
Yeah.
I get the radial pattern, but it's similar to the advice I've given other people. It's not like anything I haven't seen before. It's a pretty common sort of a shape and the form and the radial, whereas your other pieces we've never seen.
Yeah,
So I think
when people hear radial pattern, they I think first of all, like of the circular shape, but they should think about the movement that that makes rather than like a blob of like a circle. So yeah, to make it less predictable. And I think the mat is making it too contained over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Whoa, whoa, aloe inspiration. This is, you know, again, I just talked about this with my own plant here, like it's geometric and organic, a beautiful image to be inspired by. Travis, your inspiration this week, and I see more coming, has been an inspiration to us. Look at this, the sphere pattern. And this is such a great example of the sphere with the scale of each of those spheres within that. So I think that that was a great thing to include. We already saw this, I think. Yeah, that's where we started. But your,
did we?
yeah, because we talked about it.
Okay. Because that was the last image. I don't think we've seen that image
Oh.
before. Yeah.
I feel like we, oh, maybe I saw it in process. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
that
we
one.
didn't see
No,
that
right
one.
by the pie slicer. No, right by the pie slicer. We did. It's right there to the left. Go to the pie slicer. Keep going. Right there.
This one?
Right there.
Ah, I see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Travis, bravo on sharing all of that inspiration with us, and all of your inspiration. And again, my early comments, everything became quite clear as we progressed through your images. As I said, I did not look at this group in advance. Normally I have a better sense of, and I read through it before we talk. So I spoke ahead of myself. Okay, so spheres, thank you, thank you. Such a delight to look at, and I know it was a lot to ask, and I'm very impressed.